Hello, middle-aged gamers. Welcome back to the Square Enix Extravaganza. Today we are going to talk about all things Square Enix. Just for today's episode, though. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Antoine and Adam, who came up with the topic. Please pay them money. Well, mainly Antoine with a bit of input from Adam, so the idea for today's show is the following. If you had to pick a game from a publisher's catalog that you have never played, what would you pick and why? The idea, as always, is to choose games that we have never played and maybe you have never played. So maybe if you're looking for this kind of game, you might wishlist it or purchase it at the appropriate time. Or there's a Steam sale right now. You might be able to purchase it right now. If you like this kind of episode, please let us know so we can take this kind of show into consideration when coming up with new episodes. And as usual, Adam is first up to bat.
All right, so the game that I picked is Neo: The World Ends With You. The original World Ends With You was available on the Nintendo DS, and it's quite a bit old now. I think they said it's about 14 years old. And obviously, it is published by Square Enix. It is developed by Square Enix and H.A.N.D. stands for Hokkaido Artists Network and Development. They've done a couple games that you might have heard of, such as Ape Escape. But they typically don't do the mainline ones. They typically do kind of spin-off games. So this game actually just came out 2 days ago on July 27th for the Switch and the PS4, and it will be coming out on PC, but it is not out on PC yet. So that's supposed to come sometime later this year, I think in the fall, but I'm not entirely sure. So this is a ARPG, and basically it follows similar to the first game. There are some returning characters, but it takes place basically in modern times, as did that one. So because that one was made 14 years ago, then this game takes place 14 years later. So there are a few returning characters, but their roles have changed. None of the protagonists are still protagonists. Some of the villains are now kind of helping you out. So it's kind of like real life, where in 14 years a lot can change, but you might still be seeing some of the same faces that you were seeing 14 years ago. So the original one got really good reviews. A lot of people really liked it, and it really capitalized on the NDS having two screens. Your combat, you could kind of use the second screen to amplify your combat and whatnot. But so this one obviously had to make some adaptations coming to a console that obviously didn't have a second screen. However, part of the reason that it's coming to Switch and the PS5 or PS4 might be because they both have, the Switch has a touch screen and the PS4 has a touchpad. I'm not entirely sure, because it seems like so far the only use for that is to bring up basically a menu or to escape combat. So it doesn't seem to have too much of a use. But basically, the premise of the game is or the main character and his friends are entered in this thing called Reaper's Game. And what they do in the Reaper's Game is basically each day there's some sort of task that you have to fulfill. So there's a little bit of kind of puzzle solving, and a little bit of combat and a little bit of all this and that. It's not too hard, but basically you're solving these puzzles so that your team can have the highest number of points at the end of the week in the Reaper's Game, because whichever team gets the highest score gets a wish granted, and whichever team gets the lowest score is basically going to be erased from existence. And so that is why you are attempting to win this game, even though you didn't enter it voluntarily. So the kind of people that I think this game might be good for are people who enjoyed the first game. The combat's going to be very, very different because it is on a much more powerful console, and also it's not capitalizing on the second screen. The way combat works is basically, instead of controlling each character individually, you control the team as a whole. So each character can equip something called a pin, which are basically little badges, and each pin has with it an associated psychic power, and it's also associated with a button. So certain pins are associated with the triangle button, certain pins are associated with the L1 button, certain pins are associated with R2. So because of that, each character can equip one pin, and then basically if you hit their button, they will use whatever attack. The camera will automatically switch to that character, and they will use whatever attack they have equipped. And you can use these in combos, because after you build up a certain combo with one character, it'll bring up kind of a circle meter, and then you have to switch to another attack. And if you can do that, you can improve something called groove. And when you get to your groove to 100%, then you can unleash a super attack. So it's kind of an interesting battle system. It doesn't seem too deep. I played the demo. There's a demo out now, so I would highly recommend playing that if you get the opportunity. But it didn't seem too deep, but I'm not that far in. So it seems like it's going to be really more about combos and how to string combos together than just the combat itself. The people that would enjoy this game are probably people who enjoy, these typical kind of beat 'em up anime style games. Games like Dusk Divers or Akiba's Trip, that sort of thing. So it's if you enjoy that kind of game, you might enjoy this one as well. It's definitely got that kind of teenager sensibility. It's set in was it Shibuya, Japan? So it's actually in a real life location. They use real life posters and the names of places and stuff like that. And yeah, mostly it's if you like the art style is very different. It's very reminiscent of games like Dusk Divers, but at the same time it has these really thick outlines and that sort of thing. And it does kind of do the comic book style cutscenes, where it's just like a still panel of the character and a word bubble pops up for them talking. So it is that kind of game. So if you enjoy it, then yeah, this might be up your alley. So
All right, Antoine, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was actually looking at the video while he was talking. I really like the art. It looks cool. So you said that this already on a demo. Do you plan on streaming it? Otherwise, I'm gonna download that.
I already played the demo. I mean, I could go back and do it again, but
It's on,
I've completed it.
Okay, is it on Steam or only on console?
No, it's currently only PS4 and Switch, but it will be coming to PC later this year.
Always console.
So you have to wait.
Yeah, I'll wait. All right.
Antoine, it's the Switch. There's a Switch demo. I just looked at the Switch website, so you can download it on your Switch.
Looks cool, really.
All right, Phil, what about you? Any thoughts?
I was watching as well. I didn't really know much about it. Yeah, very. I can see the deep comic book style. I can see what you're talking about, like all the cutscenes, even like the panel bits. It kind of like seems to build up the panels as like this speaking to each other and everything. Yeah. I mean, it's not really my type of style, and I'm also. I mean, I used to be a long time ago. What am I thinking of? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Back in those good old days. Yeah, those type of beam ups. So, and then it kind of lost me a little bit at Marvel versus Capcom. And then I feel like they've just gone a little bit too over the top. And but looking at the combat in that, it just seems a little bit over for me. Like I just prefer something maybe a bit more toned down. But obviously, I know that it's not going to appeal to me. It's not aiming for me. But yeah, I prefer slight more realism in my beat the hell out of each other games.
Yeah, it's not a combat game. It's a ARPG. So it's you're playing against the AI and not fighting against other people.
But it looks similar to the whole just button bash combo, everything really coming up like.
When I was playing the demo, that's basically what it was. Is I was just like spam square, rings up, triangle, rings up, L1, hold down, release, rings up, square. Like and it's just mash the one button until. So the difficulty is not too high, but again, the demo only covers either the first chapter or the first two chapters. So I'm not that far into the game. So I don't know. It might expand later on. One thing they show in the demo, or one thing they show in the video, is tech trees, and that is not something that I unlocked in the game. So I have no idea how upgrading and that sort of thing works.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one thing to mention: this is a full-priced Switch game, which shocked me. But I mean, so $60 here in Taiwan. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, no, it's definitely worth it. I'm with Antoine. This style, the cartoon style, the comic book style is just awesome. And I haven't bought a full-priced Switch game. I think the last one I bought was Mario Odyssey, I think last year. So this might be something to pick up. There's also Dragon Stories. What is that game called? Monster Hunter Rise Stories. That's something I want to pick up as well. So this is going to be a something to decide between the two of them.
Yeah, something else about this. I thought it was going to be, just looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a short kind of like, you can burn through it pretty quickly game, easy game. And I was reading an interview with the producer, and he said that something about the mechanics of it is because it's only 7 days in game. In the demo, you cover the first 2 days. Apparently, there's some kind of time loop mechanic where you can go back to previous days and kind of change the things to increase your party's standing within the ranks. But he said that the base game, to get through it, he would expect would take about 50 hours, and if you wanted to collect everything, he would say it's probably 100 hours plus.
That is hectic.
It's a lot longer than I was thinking it was going to be.
That's not for me. It's too long.
Okay, all right, then we are going to switch from Adam to Antoine and his game.
All right, so as usual, I don't do things like others. You guys always, you guys picked some games which are not yet to be released or just barely released. I picked a game which is already 8 years old. Woohoo, me! So it's a Square Enix game that I really want to play, and it's Tomb Raider, the reboot of 2013. So why did I pick this game is because I'm really a big fan of the very first Tomb Raider, which was my first PC game on MS-DOS back in '96. So I was 13 years old at the time. So that's very big nostalgia for me. I really want to play this trilogy that I never did yet. Or just to give you a little bit of background, because I'm sure you all know this game. At the time, it was a game done by Core Design, and I think the success was too much for them. They decided to do one Tomb Raider game every year, 96, 97. They did 5 games in all. And the team, only one team to do one game per year. They were so dead, the guys, that they tried to kill Lara Croft in number 4. And even this, they failed killing the hero. So at the time, I was extremely disappointed by the follow up. 2 was okay, 3, 4, 5 was just terrible. I never played the 2002 Darkness, Angel of Darkness, which apparently was absolutely terrible. So that's at the time that Eidos, which at the time was a publisher, said Core Design, shoo, you and your team get out. And they gave the whole thing to Crystal Dynamics, which they're still the same team which is doing the 2013 reboot, along with Eidos Montreal, which, so woohoo Montreal again. And that's in 2009, I think, that Square Enix bought the whole franchise. At the time, the franchise didn't worth much. The movie was so, the one with Angelina Jolie. I don't know if you watched. That was very fun, but not an excellent movie, to be honest. The the
One of the better
games,
video game movies, but that's not saying much.
yeah, not much. The games, there was a Legend trilogy done by Crystal Dynamics under Eidos, which was not too bad, but I don't know, maybe marketing reasons, nobody knew about it, or maybe they were like PS3 exclusive or something. There were supposed to be good games, but no, I don't know anyone who actually played them, which is strange, for Tomb Raider. So that's why I really want to restart the series with the 2013, because apparently the reboot is very good. The reboot is really riding the wave of the Uncharted. So just to put it back in order, Tomb Raider created Uncharted, because Uncharted is really based on the old Tomb Raider, and the new Tomb Raider is really based on the Uncharted. So they closed the loop. So since I really like the Uncharted, I'm thinking it's a really nice game to play. And again, I actually watched the latest Tomb Raider movie, the very latest, which is supposed to be based on the reboot, and I was like, ah. So I'm gonna play it. Definitely, I don't think I'm gonna play that in a stream. But I would like to have a recommendation. Is it something that I should play as a really big nostalgic of Lara Croft, of the very first complete triangular shape that was moving through a quite empty temple? Is it something which would be good for me to restart, to try to have a better opinion of the games? I'm very curious. I want to do it, but I'm afraid of being disappointed. So I don't know if you guys did it. What do you think?
I've only heard good things. I remember there was one time where it was on a sale, and I bought it, but it got screwed up because I bought the English-Japanese version, and then I installed it, and then I played it, and it was the Korean-Chinese version. and so I couldn't. So I was like, I could try playing it in Chinese, but oh man, that would just be such a chore.
Lara speaking Chinese would be weird.
Well, I think she, yeah, I think it is dubbed, but mostly it would be the menus and going through that would just be a pain. But yeah, I haven't played them. I think one of them was on PS Plus, and I haven't played that one. But I've only heard good things.
I played all three, and I finished because there've been three since the initial reboot. There've been 3 Tomb Raiders. So I've finished this one that if you're watching our stream right now, I finished this. I finished the second one. I didn't finish the third one. I don't remember why, but there's no better feeling than putting an arrow into somebody while they're holding an AK-47.
If Korean finishes a game, that is, in my opinion, one of the highest levels of praise you can have.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. I'm going to take it as both.
It's not you, it's the game.
Yeah, no.
For something to capture your interest long enough to actually complete it.
What I was wondering is that do they still capture, because when Tomb Raider went out, at the time it was riding the wave again of Indiana Jones, you know, this adventurer, archaeologist who don't respect temple at all, and if you play Tomb Raider, every time there's something precious or old, you blow it up, which is part of the charm, I guess. And I'm wondering if in 2013 they will still keep the feeling of this old 80s movie with like Indiana Jones. I don't know. It's still a bit.
There's a lot of really good story, a lot of really good. The voice actress who played Tomb Raider, I think this made her really famous. Laura Bailey, that's her name. I remember because she's been on a few gaming podcasts. She's on Critical Role as well. The YouTube thing. But yeah, and she did a fantastic, and this is like the way to sort of describe the 2013 game is like, you're like, oh my god, Laura, please don't die, because she's like really weak and really like she just gets beats up a lot. Animals attacked her, she gets impales herself on a wooden spike, and it's just terrible. And then the second half of the game is like, whoa, oh yeah, actually I know how to make a bow. Oh, I can kill people and I don't feel sorry about it. And it sort of goes between that. It's sort of the beginning of the game, you feel really sorry for her. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do my best, I'm gonna play as hard as I can, I'm gonna focus so you don't die. And the next of the game they're like, yeah, you can just do what you need to do. Arrow, bullet, and it's sort of like a half survival, half action towards the end.
All right, then I'll try it. Phil, did you play it or?
There's kind of like a split in our household, the games that I play and the games that the missus plays, and it seems to be that they're never the paths shall cross. So Tomb Raider, Uncharted, those games, they're in her domain. So especially as I kind of like sit there and like I'll be watching TV on the laptop and I'll just kind of watch her play at the same time. So I'm kind of like, well, I can't really be bothered just doing the same thing again. So, like at the moment, she's doing the Legends of Tetsuto, whatever it is. So she's just maximized that. Yeah, she plays it hardcore. When she plays a game, she's been playing it like about 12 hours every day this week for the last like 8 or 9 days. So she just maxes everything out and then she'll move on. She does the same with anything from Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs, GTA, those type of games. So I watch it. I see her play it. I was just reading about, because Rise of the Tomb Raider is the most recent one, is it? She was doing that. That's got the highest Metacritic score of all of the Tomb Raider series. Tomb Raider 1, 86. Tomb Raider 2, 85. Tomb Raider 3, 76. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider 88. So apparently that's, if you're going to get into it, that's the best one to give it a try.
Isn't it like a story? I mean, you have to start from the first, right? It's a long story. It's not independent games, right?
They're independent fairly. Like none of the stories are connected. They're all like different places, from what I remember.
Yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider seems far more. I suppose it's got that sugar. No, smash my table. Far more modern feel to it, where you seem much weaker, and you kind of just seem to be wandering around the forest, kind of like killing, almost like a Witcher-esque, killing animals, killing everything, and then using the gear to level up and stuff. So I feel like it's come a long way from what I remember as a Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2 being, basically just survive your way through and solve a few puzzles. Whether that's for the good or whether that's a bad quality, I'm not sure.
Does it still have the puzzles? Because I mean, that was a huge part of the original, was solving the puzzles. Is that still a big factor? Or is it more action oriented now?
I'd say there's less attention paid on the puzzles. They're more like I would say they're more of an afterthought.
Okay.
I agree with Phil as well, because if there was too much puzzles, I would have stopped playing it. But there's puzzles enough that I can just say, okay, this is irritating. Google.com, how do you solve this? And just do it.
We may know that, might we, Antoine? We may have used the same technique for our Dungeons and Dragons run on Sunday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we be bothered solving this puzzle with no clues? No, right, Google. There we go. We've got the answer.
Hey, did you guys kill the Beholder?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We got close. We were like 10% on the last run.
Yeah.
And then Antoine was crying too much.
Exactly. It was very late for me. I was like, I don't want to do another hour fight after midnight like this. Like, no way. Can restart, but with lower difficulty.
Okay, so we're moving on. Antoine, final thoughts about Tomb Raider? Are you gonna stream?
Stream it? No, I think I'm gonna play it for myself, because if I start it, I want to do it properly and do the whole series of games.
Okay.
Like I do with Uncharted, I like to, when there's Uncharted 4, I want to know all the Easter eggs about the previous games. I want to know about the story and everything, so that's going to be too long on the stream. If I do 1 hour by 1 hour, imagine the whole series like this, too long. So no. I'm gonna choose a short game for next one.
Cool.
I just don't know which one.
Sounds good. All right, then we're gonna say goodbye to Tomb Raider and move on to Phil's game.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Today we're gonna. I mean, we didn't use it on the E3 last week. There was a couple of things we didn't do on E3 last week as well, like Diablo 2 Resurrected, which I've seen loads of videos for this week, and oh my god, it looks so good. I'm getting distracted now. This is not the video for Diablo 2 Resurrected, although I started looking sane if it's crossed with Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy anyway. Saying that would also be a game that I'd purchase. Anyway, we're going to look. It's developed by Eidos Material. I have no idea. Maybe that auto-corrected. Maybe it didn't. Wait, it's the same as Antoine's. Eidos Montreal, it was. Eidos Montreal. My phone does not like Montreal. It's changed it to Eidos Material. I was like, that is definitely not the name. It's poor Montreal. It is published by Square Enix, and it's due out on the 26th of October, 3 days before my birthday, if people are thinking about presents. It is an...
Subtle hint.
It is an action-adventure game. Why did I choose it? I chose it because the Square Enix catalog for me, personally, is not got a whole load of things that I'm kind of interested in. And the stuff that I'm interested in, I tend to have purchased and already tried. So going through and trying to choose something that I might be interested in was a bit of a tough ask. So I kind of had to go through the subsidiaries and games that they were just more publishing rather than developing to see. But it brought me to my first thing I wanted to do today, which is... Oh, wait a second. Does this work? Yeah. Phil's concisely named Square Enix versus Square Enix Europe game. So for today, we have Adam, Creon, and Antoine, who are going to try our fun and exciting game. Nice to meet you guys. Are you ready to win?
Ready.
There we go. Okay, I had to find on Google a free-to-use quiz intro for that, but there we go. Okay, so I am going to give you the name of a game, and you have to tell me, do you think it was designed by the Japanese company Square Enix, or the British subsidiary, completely owned still by Square Enix Europe? Are we ready, gents?
Ready.
Okay, Babylon's Fall, the exciting new game that we all loved on our trailers last week.
Let's be Japanese.
I'm going to say Japan.
I'm going to say Square Enix UK.
It is Japanese Square Enix. Well done, guys. Good. Okay, Adam's here. Oh, wait, no. Let's go with Deus Ex.
I'll go with UK.
I'm gonna go UK as well again.
Isn't it Eidos Montreal as well? So yeah, I'd go with UK.
It is. Well done, well done, well done. Okay, here we go, Adam. This one's for you. Okay. Neo: The World's End.
That's Japan.
It is Japan. Well done. Just Cause 2 to 4.
Oh, that must be Europe.
I think it's Europe.
I'm gonna go Europe as well.
Thief.
Europe.
Europe. Very good. Antoine, Tomb Raider.
That's Europe, of course.
Yeah. It is Europe. Wow, we're doing so well today. Very good, Korean. Over to you. Dragon Quest builders.
Oh, Japan, of course.
Easy.
Japan, and the last one, Outriders.
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can see why the two different audience and the two different markets. You can guess all those titles, and we still managed to kind of roughly guess whether we thought they were designed or published by the UK-based, the European Square Enix, and the Japanese Square Enix. So obviously you have a very, very linked game design and style that you kind of probably associate more with one or the other. And going back to when we were looking at what makes Western games and Eastern, game differences, there's obviously even there just something pretty pivotal of being able to identify an iconic from the style and the gameplay. So, no surprise, we have... 1 second, let me get my script up. We have our Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy made by Square Enix Europe, and we have it more controlled and dominated by that Western game style and gameplay. Obviously designed for Marvel fans, people still riding the Guardians of the Galaxy high. But what do I like about this game? In all honesty, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why I picked this game. It was kind of just whatever. I'll just go with that one. So I'm kind of on the fence on here because I do like the Square Enix Europe games in general, but usually they're more co-op based games. Usually they're more stuff that I can get online and play with some friends for a bit. This is only single player, which is going to be a little bit of a hindrance for me because I've seen the gameplay and the game style. So it is full person. You go in with your Guardians of the Galaxy, but you only control one character, and then you kind of button bash the controls in the combat to trigger combo attacks by the other three characters, which is okay. But I just, in my head, think, would it have been that difficult to have had 2-player, 3-player, or 4-player options in there? Maybe, I suppose. But that's something that I would have liked, especially at the full price, $60, 60 euros, or for the deluxe, $80 or 80 euros for a single-player game. For me, that's just a little bit steep for what I'm getting. So it might be something that I would wait for a sale in a distant future, and probably wouldn't be looking to pay for that, especially when things that I wanted to consider were, number one, graphic style. And this is something Adam's brought up before when he's talked about Marvel, I think it's specifically Marvel games, where you're looking at the feel and the style and almost the characters, and you're like, who is this supposed to be? And then I look at both the comic version, I look at the movie version, and I look at the game version. I'm just like, what the hell is this? Who are these people? And I just feel, I remember reading somebody and they slammed it and said, why does this look like some knockoff, Chinese movie version of the real version with everybody who looks completely different? And I kind of get that. If I'm going to pay, $60, £60 or, for a game, could they make the characters look either like the comic book or like the movie rather than just, okay, this is, we're just going to go our own way. So yeah, that kind of loses me. Also, 7 years since Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It seems to be based more on the first one rather than the second one from looking at the demo. Now, is that blast from the past, or is it kind of a little bit too late, for relevance to them be saying, oh, actually, here's your game. It's kind of styled on the game from 7 years ago. But I mean, they quite often do that with those superhero games. Like I said, the single player puts me off. The price puts me off. So yeah, it's not looking good. The one thing that caught me, one positive that I've seen from it, and that is the music. The music looks amazing. Every time you go into combat, they rock up some 80s thunder classic tune as you battle and fight your way through everything that's there. And I was like, yeah, I can get behind this, man. Don't stop believing while I'm running around killing things or whatever, you know. I just feel like that's a way that you. And strangely enough, I've just been watching Guardians of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and there's an episode with the thong song, and he presses the button, and then they start playing the thong song while they're all having this epic fight. And I was like, oh my god, how much cooler are fight scenes, even if the song is some atrocity like thong song, you know, it just makes everything better. So yeah, I mean, the idea of running around collecting tunes, adding it to your cassette players, for those of you who are very young, you know, CD players, you know, they're before CD players. For those of you who are very, very young, they're before iPads or iPhones, the way that we've evolved. Yeah. But that is cool. That's an aspect that I was like, this is pretty cool. If the game was maybe, you know, $30 or $40, I would probably get it on a sale. But yeah, starting price would be too expensive for me. What do you guys think?
I don't think I can get over Rocket having a beard. That's just too weird for me.
Antoine?
I think it's a big mistake. Honestly, I just checked just to make sure, but this is the same studio. So again, it's Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, who just released the Marvel Avengers last year, which was a total flop, which was terrible. Yeah, and I just don't see why they keep pushing, knowing that apart from the music, I think there's a movie which gonna get out soon, Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3. So maybe they are hoping that the movie is gonna be good and the hype is gonna go back up again for this game.
Movie is next year.
Next year, and when is this one gonna be released? It's gonna be after the movie.
Phil said October this year.
3 days before my birthday, remember?
Yeah. Right. Now that's no, I just don't see how it's gonna work because Marvel High is not there at the moment. It's finished, from what I understand. The Adventure game was a flop. Here you put Guardian of the Galaxy without, the official face, I would say, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's nothing in there which gonna make people say, "Yeah, I want this." No, it's gonna, yeah, great, okay, that's too expensive, and I'd rather play. I saw a stream on the Telltale series of Guardian of the Galaxy, and this was good. It was a very good story, although it's a Telltale, so there's no real gameplay. But still, I'd rather play this than this one. Question of hype is like none, no hype at all for this game.
All right,
I'm not
Adam?
the only one thinking that, right?
You call me?
Yes, I called you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, yeah, two people talking at the same time. Yeah, I'm kind of weird in that for me, I typically don't like playing things that are associated with things outside of things. I guess the example, yeah, is a weird way of saying it. So like when I was a kid, I was really big into Legos, and I always liked like the sets that were unique to Lego. I liked the Aquanauts or Ice Planet or Blacktron, Mtron, that sort of thing. I wasn't big into Star Wars Legos or Harry Potter Legos because I don't know. For me, in a way, I feel like when it was kind of a blank slate, I could play any story I wanted. If I was playing Harry Potter, I had to play within their rules. And in a way, for me, a lot of games are similar to that. Like if it's a game based off of a comic book or a TV show or a movie, I'm kind of like, I like having kind of their own fresh, unique worlds. I don't know. That's just a me thing. This isn't my style of game, but yeah, I'd be interested to see how it plays because the fact that they went from multiplayer to single player, I think, was a direct result of kind of how Avengers failed. So it would be interesting to see if maybe they fixed some of the issues that had by doing this, or if it was, I'd be kind of, I don't think I'd watch a stream of it, but I'd be interested in hearing what somebody who had played it felt, and then after that make a decision as to whether I'd rather play it or see it myself. I feel like I just need more.
So for me, I think the move to single player is fantastic because, one of the big issues with multiplayer was it was monetized for multiplayer skins, cosmetics, and then most recently, you guys probably would have seen the news, right? The one of the developers on Reddit on an AMA said, "Hey, by the way, we're going to increase the experience limit for getting this stuff. So if you want to gain some experience and get stuff, you should do it now before this date." And that was unfortunate as well. I'm for Marvel's Avengers anyway. I mean, as for the face stuff, I'm sure there's a reason for it, and it's not a big deal for me. Like, this looks really, really cool. I mean, besides the music, I like the idea of it being single player, something I can play at my pace, my way, my time. And I think this goes back to Adam and I have talked about this last year when we first started the podcast. The idea of playing something at a pace or playing something at like an hour or 3 hours a week or something like that, and then you're not going to hit up against that wall of saying, "Oh my God, I've put so much time into this, and now I'm not enjoying this because I have to grind to get some sort of feedback, some sort of something from the game." So for me, I think for maybe even for a lot of people in my situation, somewhat maybe Antoine's situation as well, we're going to be playing this 3 hours a week or something. Even going back to Avengers, right? Avengers, people hated it, right? The faces, but people also hated it because of the loot grind, the cosmetic stuff. So, I mean, if they even do the same thing here, and even at a full price, I'd definitely consider picking this up. Final thoughts, Phil?
Yes. I'm still not convinced. Like I said, for me, if it was on sale, then maybe somewhere distant along the future, it would be something I'd pick up again for similar, just slowly ease at my own pace. But at the moment, I just keep buying games and then not really playing them too much. And I need to get out of this cycle because it annoys me when I've just got a backlog of games that I've not put enough time into. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to go on the back burner compared to other games that are coming out this year that probably I'm looking forward to a bit more. That's a game I want to play that I don't want to play.
All right. Oh, we seem to have lost Adam's video.
No, I just pressed the wrong thing.
Okay. All right. I was thinking I'd do my thing here, but actually I'd like to, do a little bit of housekeeping, catching up with you guys, because people have been watching what you've been playing and stuff. But it's always great to catch up with you guys and hear, what's going on with your stream, game-wise, what you've purchased, Steam sales, that sort of stuff. So let's do Antoine first. So Antoine, how's Subnautica going?
Going well. I think I'm nearing the end. Not too much to do left, I guess. So I think maybe another 6-7 hours.
So what is nearing the end?
Well, I've done quite a lot of the side quest. I would say of the game. Most of the crafting is done, which is a big part of the game. The crafting. I have a base. I have all my citric. Everything is done. I have most of the side quest of the architect, which is finding three things to reconstruct his body. I already have 2 out of 3. I think in 5 or 6 stream of 1 hour, I should be done with this game. So after I need to pick a new one. I don't know. There's a game I like to come back to from time to time. It's Hitman. I have Hitman 3 in my library. I like to play a mission from time to time and find it very funny. Not that good at it. It's just like such a good stress relief. So maybe I'll do a bit of Hitman after in one of the streams before I find another game to really go back into.
So how are you feeling about Subnautica, now that you're towards the end?
It's as usual, it's excellent. I'm just disappointed on the vehicles. The sea truck just doesn't hold a candle to the Cyclops of the first game, and that's a big issue, honestly, to me. As I said, I just finished crafting all the module of the sea truck, and you have a beautiful feeling of driving a truck with a massive trailer behind you. It's so slow, and the map is quite big. when you need 15 minutes to go to the end of the map, you're like, you know what? Release all the trailers. I needed like hours to scan them, build them, and everything. And at the end, I'm just gonna leave them at the base because they're too heavy. It's just too annoying to bring them with me. So leave them at the base. Just take the cabin of the truck and roll. That's what's gonna happen. That to me, that's like, no, this vehicle is a fail. Sorry, give me back my Cyclope, which used to be a submarine. So it's massive. It was sandbox. You could customize it as much as you wanted. It was really a home base, moving base, and perfect for it. And this vehicle doesn't work. Otherwise, as a Subnautica, the game is excellent, and I just can't recommend it enough.
Fantastic. All right, then we go on to Phil. Phil, how's your gaming going? Streaming thoughts? Board gaming?
Yeah, I was gonna do some Necromunda High Guns, but I kind of I got sucked into Korean stream on I don't know what was that, like Thursday when we were doing Dark Alliance, and I got sucked into streaming with Antoine on Sunday morning for some D&D Dark Alliance. So I felt like I was guest appearing in everybody else's streams. Just like, and Korean, we found out you can just stream the audio, the voice inside Dark Alliance game. We need to use Discord for it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's going pretty well, though. We're up to the Beholder level, and oh gosh, myself and Antoine were jumping around from bridges to platforms into the middle, and then both got auto-wiped when it was at 10%. And yeah, I've not gone back to it since that massacre. But it will be happening. So, and we're hoping at some time that we can try and get a 3-play and get Korean in sometime when all 3 of our schedules allow for it. And who knows, Adam too, maybe he's going to get it.
Yeah, I was debating. I was talking to Korean the other day. I was like, "Oh, is this worth me picking up?" And Korean's like, "Oh, the odds of us actually getting together and all 4 of us having time are pretty slim."
It might happen. One weekend sometime. A special. Everyone put it in their diaries and do a couple of dungeons together.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it. I know what people are saying, and there are bad sides to the game, and especially the trying to do random games and online games can be really difficult. There's so many times where it's supposed to put you with people similar to your level, and I'm getting stuck with like level 1s and level 2s, which is nowhere near complete opposite side. So there's something wrong with the matching there. So that's kind of putting me off that. I am looking at getting Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Maybe Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 is on sale on the Steam store that I was looking at before. So I might get that because it's looking pretty good. And I heard Battlefleet Armada 2, the first one was good. And I think they made improvements on the second one. So, I mean, it's on the Gothic store here for like 197 NT. Or the original one for 118 NT. So they've gone down pretty decent. So I might be getting that. I might do some solo streams of that because I'm having to fight the misses for the PlayStation at the moment for that Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima.
I never win that battle. I never win that battle.
Oh, that is such a good game.
All right, Adam, why don't you fill us in on things going on in the Adam streaming world?
I've been really intensely playing for the last few weeks. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm done with it. I am into the DLC. I typically take my time with these things and explore quite a bit. It's supposed to be basically 3 to 4 hours to complete the entire DLC, but I've wasted a lot of time playing like some of the side games like Fort Condor and stuff like that. But I think from where I am, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. So maybe another 1 or 2 streams on that, and then I'll have to figure out what's next. For the Steam sale, I picked up Omori, which one of my students actually suggested I play on the stream. And then Dreadout 2, which were the horror games from Thailand that Antoine recommended. So I might put those up on stream at some point as well. Although I'm debating because I would be playing those in the morning, and those are the games that are best played at night. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I'll probably tomorrow will definitely be Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, and I don't think I'll finish tomorrow, so probably Friday as well.
Did did you end up beating up the Grandmaster off stream or?
No, I ended up beating Ramu off stream, but I did not beat the Grandmaster off stream. I gave up on that, and then I went and continued with the story, and now I'm into the story kind of dungeon area, and I don't think I could go back. I think I'm gonna have to beat it, and then play it, beat him on a second playthrough. But now I've got a better board, so I think I can take him now.
All right. Next, I'm going to read you guys some headlines and give me your quick thoughts. We go Antoine first, and we go Antoine, Adam, Phil. Headlines as of a day ago from Wired magazine. Gaming with my husband made our marriage stronger. So all of you guys are married, which is the perfect one to start off with. All right, so Antoine.
Ask Phil. My wife doesn't play games at all, so.
She's not got into gaming at all since you guys been married a while.
Oh, I know, zero. No, she's just not a hobby, no, at all. So.
She's like not even done like Mario Party or stuff like that?
No.
Not even with your kids?
No, just sometimes, like you're not even a mobile game, like Candy Crush or anything. No, listen, it's just other stuff.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah. So, not for me.
All right, moving on to Adam.
My wife plays a little bit sometimes. I mean, she'll play like at least the mobile games like Candy Crush and that sort of thing. When we first started dating, she was like, "Oh yeah, I play games. I like Silent Hill too." So I was like, "Oh, awesome!" But then it turns out that no, she watched somebody else play Silent Hill too. So she's kind of funny. She doesn't play games, but she enjoys watching me play sometimes. So like, for example, sometimes she's like, "You can go play your game." She's sitting on the sofa using her phone, and she'll like me to play a game in the background, and she likes to follow the story. But I think in her case, I'm always like, "Play Little Big Planet with me. It'll be great." And she's like, "No, I'll die." I'm like, "It's okay. I'll carry you." "No, I'll die." So, but I could definitely see most of the people, what do they say? The family that plays together stays together. So I could definitely see, that being a big boon to a relationship.
All right, Phil, round us out.
Yeah, I said before, we kind of have two different spheres of gaming play, but there's only one overlap in that middle area, and those are dungeon crawlers. So things like Trine, Gauntlet, Diablo, Nine Parchments, those type of games, then we can rock those for serious times. Yeah, we'll just play it like 12 hours and through the night and into the day, the next day, then go to sleep and then pick it up again the next day. So we both have that same style. I definitely think it strengthens even the fact that we don't play the same game, because like the idea of just saying, "Oh, I'm going to go off and I'm going to play my game for like 5 hours." In a normal relationship, I think maybe you would hit some turbulence or flack about that issue. But if you're with somebody else who's also a gamer, then it's like, I'll go and play this, and like, okay, cool. And as soon as you've left the door, you can already hear the PlayStation powering up and their game loading up. So, it allows you more freedom to play. I think if you're both pretty good gamers, you kind of have more respect for each other's gaming times, I feel.
I'm gonna build on that. Because like my wife, she's not a big gamer, but she's been doing dance for years. And I think it's one of those things where even though she doesn't game, that fact that she has something she's really passionate about and I have something that I'm really passionate about, we kind of have the appreciation of, oh, I'm going to give you the freedom to do what you want. And, I think just it gives us an understanding, even though it's not the same understanding. I think it's kind of, it helps.
All right, finally, gents, we have time towards the end of the show to figure out what we want to talk about next week. So I'm going to open the floor to suggestions for next week's Tuesday's podcast. Adam?
Well, I mean, we could either do the same thing that we did this week with, like, say, just pick a different company. So instead of Square Enix, Capcom or Bandai. Or seeing as next Sunday? Next Sunday is 4th of July, America's birthday. So we could do our favorite spin-offs of games, seeing as America's a spin-off of the UK, right?
I can't believe you said that on stream.
Oh my
Why
God.
not? So I figured with Phil here, he'd appreciate that. So we could do some of our favorite spin-offs of franchises that have games that go off the beaten path from the primary. Unless somebody wants to do something else, I'm open to suggestions.
Anybody else? Suggestions? Thoughts?
we were talking about earlier about what kind of co-op games we can do in the future. I was talking about Vermintide, following Dark Alliance.
Oh yes.
Which, at
Adam and
some
I played
point,
Vermintide too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to play this with you guys. So, yeah, maybe.
Wait, you guys play Vermintide 2?
Yeah.
Or you guys play Vermintide 2?
Oh, we played Vermintide too.
Right, okay.
So yeah, maybe a podcast on co-op games like this we could stream in the future.
Okay, that's a good idea. So a podcast, a co-op focused podcast, spin-off
make a
podcast
list.
for July 4th, and
Just make a list, put them in a hat, and then just.
oh, that'd be cool. There's a whole bunch of random generated thingies, and we could
Yeah.
just put all, because we have a list of podcast topics on our Google Drive, so just put them all in and have the random
Yeah,
computer figure it out.
exactly.
Instead of putting you guys on the spot every Tuesday. Alright, Phil, what about you? Any thoughts?
No, I'm cool with whatever. I'm cool with whatever. Yeah, I don't mind. I think I thought of some games before, but I end up messaging people. I think what did I have? I had two ideas. Games within games. It was inspired by.
I remember that.
The game in Witcher that became a card game by itself.
Gwent, yes.
Yes, Gwent. And there's quite a few of the games that have, all games that have also been a side game, their own game, and then appeared in another game, like the Final Fantasy 14. You have the Minion based game, Vermilion, whatever it's called.
Lords of Vermilion.
Lords of Vermilion. So there's like games that have either gone into another game or come from another game. And the other one was like some of our classic gone but not forgotten games. But I quite like the others that you guys have suggested for next week. They're quite good thematically. Co-op games or spin-off games, whatever.
Alright, then, let's set it up then next week, Tuesday, since it is, we do want to coincide with the July 4th special, and that would be a nice little advertising thing. Spin-offs! America's a spin-off of, I'm not going to say it because
Why not?
I want to protect myself.
It was a terrible spin-off.
It's bigger than the original.
got shoddy,
Oh,
played into the masses, cheap, repetitive, too many crazy characters.
And yet it's larger. It's a larger franchise.
It's like The Office, the US Office and the American Office.
It's like
Quite
the Office, yeah. It's derivative, but it became more popular.
Alright, well, you heard it straight from our fantastic co-hosts. Next week is spin-offs, and we're going to try and be as polite as possible. And then next week we're going to talk about
I think so.
co-op games. Co-op games you'd be playing with your significant other, maybe, or co-op games you could be playing just with your friends or with your podcast co-hosts. And that's going to be it for us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. This is a trial of Microsoft Teams. If we're not using our usual Google Meets, because Google Meets does now cost money everywhere in the world for more than 60 minutes. And because we usually start early, it means we have to pay money. And you can't pay money unless you have some sort of freaking company, which is very irritating, or you belong to a school and you have a .edu domain name. Because I was trying to pay money yesterday because I like Google Meets, but, well, screw you, Google. But we still love you for hosting YouTube.
So there's that politeness that he was talking about, Bill.
So we're going to be using Teams. We might use something else depending what the guys feel about Teams, or if there's a better suggestion than Teams. This was just based on strictly bandwidth and video codecs and hosting and that sort of stuff. So if you guys have another idea for what we could be using for doing our 4-person podcast streams, please send us a message on social media. I'd love to hear, because I was Googling this yesterday and looking at multiple places, and I got a bunch of shady suggestions from other people on line, which is what we use here in Taiwan. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, thank you, and we will see you guys same time next week, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. Taiwanese time. Gentlemen, final thoughts? Okay, good. Okay, then see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye,
Bye.
guys.